Hey, Michelle, how's everything today?
Hey, Lindsay, I'm good. How is everything with you?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. What's going on today in this episode for our listeners?
Yeah, well, today we're talking about honeymoons. Do most people go on a honeymoon? Do you think it's very common to go on a honeymoon? And what is a honeymoon?
Oh my gosh, I think it's super common to go on a honeymoon. Although in my mind, back in the 90s, everyone like left for their honeymoon right after their wedding. So at least
Right.
that's what I saw in the
Yeah.
movies.
Yes.
Like Father of the Bride,
Yes,
you know,
that's
you know,
How did you know that's what I was thinking of? Yes, exactly. They
because I know
leave
you.
and then it's like everybody
Yes,
runs out and
yes.
they go right away. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, my friend Emma did that, and I asked her about that. I was like, it seems like no one does that anymore. They do it maybe months later, a year later, whenever they want. And I said, "Wasn't that stressful planning a wedding and packing for a honeymoon and planning the whole thing back to back?"
Yeah, that's a
And
lot.
she said she just had support from her family and
Mm.
help with packing and storing suitcases and just the logistics of a wedding day, Michelle, are
Yeah,
insane.
yes. Where did she go? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I think somewhere in the Caribbean or it was years ago. That was
Yeah,
2009 when they got married,
yeah.
so
Well, what some people do is this is what we did is, I mean, we got married and then our honeymoon and remember, yeah, I went to India on my honeymoon.
Oh, that was your
Uh,
honeymoon? I didn't
that
know
was
your
my
India trip was your
that
honeymoon.
was our honeymoon.
Oh, okay, okay,
It
okay,
just
okay.
worked out. We had a friend who was getting married, and it was right after our wedding, and we were gonna do, like, 2 giant trips, and we
Yeah,
knew we wanted to take advantage of going
perfect.
to this wedding in India,
Yeah,
and so we were like, "That's our honeymoon." So we got married in September, and our honeymoon, I think we left in January, February, so it was a long time after, but
yep,
what we did is we did now they also have and this is another thing I wanted to teach was mini moon. So it's like
yeah,
sometimes if you don't want to do the big trip right away, you might do like I mean we literally did we got married in Baltimore, Maryland and we did at this place in DC. We just stayed like
yeah,
2 nights just at a hotel
yes,
just so that it could
yeah,
feel nothing stressful but just something to like,
exactly.
oh, it's fun to do something to celebrate.
Oh, for sure, I did the same thing because I
Yeah,
just
did
got
you?
married this past fall, and we had a
Right.
mini moon, right after we went to Mexico City, and then we had our real honeymoon, yeah, we went to Argentina, and so I think you're right. I think after, the whole thing like a wedding, it's such a big deal that you need something to relax into. Just going right back to work, non-starter.
Right, right. How long was your mini moon?
Like 4 or 5 days.
Nice. So
Yeah.
that's a perfect thing, and then and then Argentina was how many months later?
Well, that was, like, 3 months later. So we
Yeah.
actually needed time to really properly plan it, and tie up all the plans. I couldn't imagine planning a huge trip like Argentina while planning a wedding. Just no way.
Right. And it's kinda nice because it's, like, 2 big things to look forward to, then
Yes.
like, instead of everything, like because I feel like if I did it all at once, then I'd come home and be
It's all
like,
over.
"It's all over now, I'm just a married lady," you know?
Yeah, although I was kinda relieved when all the wedding stuff was over and we got home from Mexico City. I was like, "Yes, no more planning. I'm just
It's
I can just
true.
live my life now,"
It's
you know?
true. It's so
Yeah.
true. It's so true. So guys, that's what we're talking about today. We are also going to I also wanted to mention there's also baby moon.
Yes. What's that, Michelle?
So that's
That's common too
usually
now.
yeah, we did sometimes people do really extravagant things for a baby moon. It's like usually when one of the people is pregnant and going
Yep.
to so there's a vacation that you can take while
Right.
while waiting for the baby and
Yes.
so it's kind of think of it as maybe like a last hurrah because it's harder to travel a little bit when you have kids
Yeah.
so it's kind of a way to relax and do something so I think we did Rhode Island like
Okay.
we weren't
With
gonna
some
do but
lobster rolls or pizza, Rhode Island style
yeah,
pizza,
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
So we did I don't know, just like a few days, but sometimes people do really big things, but we weren't able to at that time. But so yeah, baby moon is another one. So yeah, so today we're really talking about this idea of honeymoons and things like that. But before we get into it a little more, I wanted to direct you guys to a couple other episodes. One is about travel. So it's episode 1203 Flying, How to Ask for a Seat Swap in English. So maybe if you're going on a big trip, you should listen to that one.
Yes, or 1868, Is She the One? How to Comment on Someone's Love Life in English. I'm excited to talk about honeymoon here today, Michelle, because it's not just about the trip, right? This phrase is used in so many ways, even in
Mhm.
business with a new job, all sorts of ways
Mhm.
that our listeners are going to find really applicable if they're not necessarily getting married, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, this is not just like, "Oh, for lovebirds," right? Maybe that should be our title, not just for
Not
lovebirds.
just for lovebirds.
Right. So anyway, we're gonna talk about these expressions. So what's one expression that you can use with honeymoon, Lindsay?
I love this because, again, this can be used in so many
Uh-huh.
places. So, the first one is the honeymoon phase.
Mhm.
All right. So, Michelle, what is a honeymoon phase? I bet our listeners could guess,
Right.
right?
So this is not only about real
Sure.
honeymoons, right? In
Yes.
general, this is this idea that things are new. Everything, you get started with something, it's new, it's exciting.
Yep.
Things are generally pretty happy. And it's this time, before things kind of settle in. So like let's a couple of examples. I mean, with a marriage, right? You might say, "Oh, they were in the honeymoon phase for 3 years, but then they started having marital troubles." Uh-oh.
Right. So you can obviously talk about this regarding a relationship, right? And
Mhm.
it's not just when someone has gotten married and then they have a honeymoon phase that could be true. But in most couples, I think in the US, I think a lot of couples live together and date for a long time before they even get married. And
Mhm.
so for most people, I think their honeymoon phase is more at the beginning of like living together or dating. Does that make
True.
sense? Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so because yeah, I was already living with Dan before we got married. So nothing
Yeah.
really like it's funny. I mean, for you too, do you feel like anything really changed when you made
No.
it? Yeah, exactly. It's like
No.
it's I guess it's just different if you already live together. So
It's
it's
different, yeah.
yeah. I mean, only fun thing is that you can call that person your husband, your wife,
Right,
it's kind
it's
of fun.
fun, yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah,
fun
you
to
go
say that.
sign your marriage certificate. I mean, maybe you can talk with more confidence around buying, like,
Right.
homes together in the future, plans are more so I don't know, but not much changes.
I
But
remember oh,
yeah,
sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, no,
Uh,
no, I wanna hear your story, go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember when we were on our mini moon, right after we got married. I remember we went to a really nice restaurant, and afterwards I was waiting for Dan. I think he was in the bathroom or something, and I was waiting for him. And somebody said, "Oh, are you waiting for the bathroom?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm just waiting for my husband." And it felt so fun
Yeah,
to say that
yeah.
word. So that's kind of exciting. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah, it's weird. It feels for me, those words feel very, very old fashioned kind of, but there's
yeah.
no other words for
No,
really there aren't too many. You could say partner, which is also very common, even for married couples these days. But there's not a whole lot of vocabulary around that. But maybe that's for another day, Michelle. Here's a question.
yeah.
Did you have a honeymoon phase for All Ears English for your work at All Ears English?
Oh, well, I mean, I still feel like I don't know.
You're still in the honeymoon phase.
I don't know. I really like podcasting. I don't think that
Hmm.
there's ever a time. I feel like I'm very lucky. Like I don't feel that there's ever
Yeah.
a time, even all these years later, where I get on the mic and I'm like, oh, I have to get on the
Oh,
mic. I actually
exactly.
genuinely enjoy it. So
Yes.
in many ways, I think it's kind of different because I really feel that I found,
What you
something that
love.
really suits me. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
can't imagine getting on and then being, I don't know. I do think I'm genuinely
totally.
excited. What about you?
I feel the same way. There's nothing like the feeling that you found your craft.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? That you found the thing that you love to do and it gives you energy. And I hope all our listeners find that. But with some jobs, for example, I guess we have a sample sentence here, Michelle. You want to
Mhm.
read that one and we'll move into talking about this in a job?
Sure. So you could say she loves her job now, but it's only been a month, so she's still in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, so this can happen. I mean, any job we do things that we don't love, right? There's some tasks we
Right.
have to do that we don't love, and maybe we could be in a honeymoon phase about those tasks, maybe, right?
Right, right,
Sure.
exactly. There's always gonna be parts of, things that aren't as fun to do in a job as other
Yeah,
parts, right? Like, but, it's all part of it. So, but yeah, you can definitely have a honeymoon phase in a job. I mean, or like I said, in a regular relationship just for a
sure.
second, not even being married, you could say, "Oh, they've been dating for 3 months, so they're still in the honeymoon phase, but I actually think they have a good chance of being in it for the long haul."
Yes. Yeah, let's see if we can think of some examples in our lives, of where we might be in a honeymoon phase with anything.
Mhm.
Michelle, I could say that, I just started taking an online course,
Oh,
a business course. And, when I first got it, I'm still kind of in the honeymoon phase, but I'm feeling faint feelings of like moving out of it, right? Because when I
mhm.
first got it, I said, okay, every night I'm gonna study this course after going to the gym, after eating dinner, take a shower, I'm gonna sit down and study for an hour or two and do this
Right.
course. And it's getting a little harder to do that now. It's starting to wear off. So the honeymoon phase, I'm moving out of it. But
Okay, okay. Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean, if it's something I mean, especially with a busy schedule, right? You can
yeah.
I think a lot of times, with learning something new, that can happen. You reach a little bit of, "Okay."
Yeah, it's true, it's true. What about you? Are you in a honeymoon now or moving out of a honeymoon for anything?
Um, I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but, I mean, because 'cause I've been in my apartment for a long time. I've been a
What about in
mom.
New York? What about in New York? Did you have a honeymoon phase when you moved there as a young professional?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely at first, you wanna explore everything right away, and then it's true, then at some point I mean, New York never really gets boring, but at some point, like, you think, "Oh, I'm gonna be doing stuff all the time," and at some point it is, real life, and sometimes you don't wanna go out, and so in some yeah, that's kind of a good example, Lindsay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But if you live in a place you love, the truth is, maybe the honeymoon lasts forever. I mean,
Maybe, yeah.
I love Colorado. I love Denver. I love the amount of sunshine we get here. I love how friendly people are. And so I haven't noticed a huge drop off because I like my life here. It's a great place to live.
How
So
long have you been there now?
since 2019.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
I know. It's
Mhm.
crazy, Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, all right. So, what else might we hear? Are there other ways that we might say this? People might bring this
Yeah.
concept into a conversation?
Yeah, you might hear just to throw out, you could hear a honeymoon phase, a honeymoon stage, or
Mhm.
even honeymoon period. So just a it might not always be like just the honeymoon, the phase, stage, period. All of those are good.
Yeah, I love it. So let's do a role play for our listeners to show them how we use this. All right.
All right, let's do it. So you are telling me about your new relationship.
Ooh, okay. So
All
I'm
right.
ready.
So here we go. So how's everything going with you guys?
It's actually really, really great.
Oh wow, that's awesome. How long has it been?
Well, maybe 6 months, but I'm a little worried that we're still in a honeymoon phase. We haven't had any real issues or had to solve any problems.
Well, enjoy it. Maybe it's just easy, which is how relationships should be. It might not be a honeymoon stage. Maybe things are just that good.
True. That would be great. I'm really happy. So maybe not just the honeymoon period. Yeah. I mean, I feel like when you're in a good relationship, there's not a ton of drama. At least that's my experience.
Right.
Would you
No, it's
agree? So,
yes. I do agree. I think when things are easy, that's a sign that things are good. However, I also do agree that it is like until you start going through some real life
yes.
together, maybe I think that you have to kind of go through a lot of different situations in life together to test out that honeymoon phase.
Oh, yeah, 100%. High pressure situations, I've
Mhm.
always said you have to travel with the person. You should
Uh-huh.
try to travel as quickly as you can to a country that speaks a foreign language within, like, I'd say within the first 6 months if you can, right? Not
Yeah.
everyone can. If you can, because then you really do learn a lot about someone, how they handle awkward situations, stressful situations when they don't know the language, right?
Right, exactly. You have to see how somebody reacts in a lot of different situations, like you said, under pressure. Are they nice to waiters and waitresses? Things like that.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Or when you get to renting together,
Uh,
moving in together,
Moving
all
in,
sorts of
yep.
decisions, negotiating mortgages. Oh my gosh, Michelle. But anyways, what I find interesting about this, what I think is our takeaway for our listeners is that it's not just about love here, guys. You take a concept from love and we expand it out to work, the business world, any project, anything you're really doing could have a honeymoon period.
That's right, that's right. Should we go through the role play?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Let's do the role play, Michelle. Here we go.
All right,
All right.
so
So
You
Yeah.
said, "I'm a little worried we are still in a honeymoon phase. We haven't had any real issues." Okay?
Yeah, and I could have said, "I'm a little worried we're still in the
The
honeymoon
honeymoon
phase," right,
phase. Coulda
Michelle?
said
It could
that
have
too.
either one are okay. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you said, let's see, "It may not be a honeymoon."